No.
Open the page.
I don't want to hear you say that.
Put that umbrella around the one and take it off you.
Warum?
Repite. ¿Por qué? Porque es interesante. Okay. Repeat that.
John Bayley is at John Kelly Girls Technology College to work with a pair of highly experienced teachers on peer observation with a difference.
You right here.
Advanced skills teacher Megan Lister and head of languages Fadhila Hernandez are looking at how to encourage more independent learning.
Me gusta la música.
But is there anything that teachers from such radically different curriculum areas can learn from each other on how to create the right environment for independent learning? They'll both watch each other teach. First up, Fadhila.
El español. La informática. Excelente. Muy bien.
Fadhila is a native French speaker from Algeria. She's now the curriculum leader in languages and has responsibility for key stages 4 and 5.
Okay, mira. Ahora we do the next bit, which is how to say you like and you dislike. Okay? Tell me this example. How can you say that? Levanta la mano. Sí. Yes, with this one. Yes.
Me gusta la música.
Excelente. Me gusta la música. Repite la clase.
Me gusta la música.
Muy bien. No me gusta la historia. La clase repite. No me gusta la historia. Muy bien. Escribe la frase. Escribe.
Something I picked up on was the atmosphere in the room is really forgiving. If a student makes a mistake, the other girls didn't make fun of her or
Not
laugh.
at all, not at all.
They'd obviously
Exactly.
been taught the mistakes are okay.
Me encanta
Yes.
informática.
Muy bien. Sí, sí.
You've got a whole number of devices for making sure I learn. So even I learned some Spanish this morning, sitting watching the lesson. What's possible in languages? What does a language lesson look like if there is more student independence and more student self-assessment?
Okay, I will have given them a role play, for example, but sometimes I don't give them the ending, they have to choose themselves. But because it was a low ability class, I made sure they knew what I wanted to say. But with this class, I have to be really structured. I have to make sure they know what they're doing. Otherwise, they switch off and they can't do it.
Okay, Laura, try the next one.
No,
Yes.
no me gusta
Sí.
la
Sí.
education física.
Escucha, okay? Educación
Educación
física.
física.
Can you make the sentence now, please? Try.
No me gusta educación
Sí.
física.
Okay, perfecto, muy bien.
Fadhila's keen for John and Megan's advice on how she might better stretch the more able students, such as Sadia.
Okay.
Yes.
No, English.
El inglés, sí.
Okay. What is my
Porque es.
Porque es interesante.
Muy bien.
John's also spotted that Sadia's disengaged.
There was a time a little while later when she was kind of whispering to her friend. But then every now and then you would ask a question to the whole class. And I noticed that she would shout out the answer.
Yes.
Mi
Yes.
odio
Yes.
español porque es aburrido.
Okay, muy bien. Excelente.
She knew the words and she could kind of humour you with them, but she wasn't going to get too engaged in it. And that set me wondering about differentiation. Often when I meet girls like her, I think about differentiating from the top.
Yeah.
I think there's some children here who can learn 8 words in 10 minutes.
Usually, if I target those able girls, they'll switch off completely those ones who are less able. So today, in mind, I say I want to target those girls. So I don't want to be switched off. I want to cover the whole lesson. So I planned for them, really.
Okay.
So it was a low ability class.
So you've got that group of able kids together.
Yeah, there are 4 of them, yes.
If the 4 are together on a table, what could you do? The rest of the class are doing something. What could you do with those students to encourage them to push themselves a little bit more, to learn more?
can give them something a bit more challenging. Maybe some a paragraph with words they don't know. They can look them up in dictionary to make them just work out by themselves. No spoon feed them like I do with the others.
So if you had, I'm just thinking like to push her. So if she's learnt it from like the first, I don't know, 10 minutes, she might have learnt what you were doing, and then the rest of the lesson you've got these able students sat together to help each other, and you're focusing
on the rest of the class.
The rest of the class. How are those students, the 4 sitting together, going to know that they're doing the right thing, that they're achieving?
Yeah. I can go to them and see what they're doing as well, because I can set some work for the rest of the class and go and see.
As well, okay? Repite. Es divertido.
Es divertido.
Es aburrido.
Es aburrido.
Es fácil.
Es fácil.
Es difícil.
Es difícil.
In a situation where you have to have a lot of that repetition, that language going, what do you do with the faster learners in those situations? How do you achieve that? What happens in an ideal lesson?
So sometimes I'm an able group can work with the assistant as well. And they do speaking, she can help me pronounce as well, read, sometimes repeat after her. They can do dialogues as well, so that's how they can improve.
Would those students before that we were talking about, would they be able to take over, not the role of the
They can,
assistant,
yes,
but
they can. Yes,
if you
they
put
can.
one with each group?
They can, yes, because Katja has got a good pronunciation, you noticed. And Aisha as well, they are good, yes.
How would the other students respond to that?
They like it, yes, they do. They do, because they like to learn from each other. Because if she can do it, maybe I will be able to do it myself. So they like to work with each other, yes.
Are they in a plan?
No, they just sit with their friends whenever they decide to sit.
So that might be quite nice when a seating plan comes in play. So they're not next to their friends. If you've got a student who does struggle a little bit and they are quite willing to help each other.
They do help each other.
If you had another student who would be able to help next to her, that might work.
Fadhila does give the children some opportunity for independent work with a short role play.
Me gusta el inglés. Pourquoi?
No, ¿por qué?
Porque es how to say interesante.
Muy bien. Okay, excellent.
I have to say okay. Now you read that.
Okay. So all looking this way so we can check the answers.
In art, where most of the work is independent, Megan feels it's crucial to give the children a strong framework to know where they're going.
You're going to work out which one...
They start by looking at 3 images painted with different levels of skill, against which they will assess their own pictures.
Looking at this flower, you've got a bigger example in front of you. Which of the success criteria have they met? Which of the success criteria haven't they met? OK, you don't need to write it all out, just put the numbers that are next to the success criteria.
That one goes to that one. Paint the lightest colour first, then medium dark. 2.
What else would happen in a lesson where there was more student independence?
I think as long as they know exactly what they've got to do, they're OK. It's when I've done it in the past where I think, oh, they'll be OK. I'll quickly just tell them what they're going to do and they'll be fine because we've done it before. And as soon as maybe working in groups of 4 and you've got 3 of those students don't really know what they're doing or why they're doing it, it falls apart.
Lots of different shapes.
You need to know exactly what it is they're learning, that lesson, and why they're learning it. I think that's important. If you've got these set criteria that they follow and they can all follow it, maybe not fulfil everything, but the majority of the students can follow it, then they can achieve something so they feel like giving it a go. And then at the end of the lesson, when they've actually produced something, they've got this sense of pride and achievement. Right, as you're working, girls, check which of the 3 paintings yours is starting to look like. Is it looking like the successful one, the good one, or the one that needs a lot more work?
John believes all Fadhila's students would benefit from clearer success criteria.
Well done, brilliant.
I do that when I do assessment. And I said, to get level 4, you have to do this. To get level 5, you have to add this as well. You have 2 paragraphs. Level 3, it's 1 paragraph. Level 4, you have to add 2 paragraphs, use connectives, use adjectives. So they know when they're writing something, yes.
You could use that with your group if they do...
Yes, but today I was just teaching the class, so I didn't write anything like that for...
OK, let's just nail that, because when does that kick in? Because I could imagine that it be written down there, I can use, I've forgotten the words, I can use gusto, I can use, I can write a sentence, my pronunciation is accurate, my spelling of the word is accurate, I have made a story, tick, tick, tick. Now, clearly, you judged that was not necessary this morning, because you're teaching. But, for example, if you were working with a class at a higher level, you might well have a set of objectives like that.
Yes.
When do they kick in? When do you decide to use them and when not to use them?
I've got a top set, and for them, they use a lot of their own imagination, they know initiative as well, to go beyond. And I know they can do it, because they use dictionaries, they know how to do it. This class doesn't.
So one of their success criteria could be, I have spelled every word correctly, and that could be...
That's very good for them, yes. It's all good for
them. Just keep it
simple for them, yes.
Simple, but also have a few in there that would push them a little bit.
A little bit further,
so that they've succeeded the majority, and then some of them would exceed.
We're going beyond that. Yeah.
So we're up to the good stage. What would you need to do to bring it up to this stage?
Use more dark and light things.
Yeah. And what's this one got around the middle here that this one hasn't?
Detail.
Yeah, detail. So when that's dry, you put the detail on and you're moving from good to successful.
I want to put just a little bit of pressure on you here. I think having a rather more expanded set of objectives would be useful. What do you think about that?
I usually write them if I do a lesson plan, for myself, but I never write them on a board. Sometimes it takes them ages to copy it from the board.
Well, they don't have to copy it, do they?
Just, yes, for me, I don't see. I do it for myself, to know what I'm planning. When I'm planning, I say, some will do this, some will do that, and some, will achieve this.
Now, let's see what success criteria you have met. You've met 1, 2, 3, 6 and 7. Mm-hmm. So you're nearly there, aren't you? What's the ones you didn't do? Number 4 and 5. So number 4, use different parts of the brush. So what could you do next week to make sure that you meet number 4?
I can make streaks of blends.
Yeah? Where would you do that?
There.
Yeah. So just streaking it a little bit more. And number 5, if you don't want colours to bleed together, let them dry. Did you want those to bleed together? Mm-hmm. Well, that's OK then. Oh. So, and you've also let it dry because your green's not bled into your orange. So you have done it.
I think it's a good idea to have a board that says we're going on a journey in this lesson. All of you will be able to say what you like and don't like. Most of you will be able to make sentences out of it. Some of you will have some extended conversations and help some other students so that you're describing the journey that people are going to make and reaching the aspirations of all the students.
Yeah, that's a bit,
but does that ring conviction with you? Because I don't want to put it into your mouth.
No, I agree with that bit, yes. I would. Because at least the girl who was, like she said, she was bored, like the girl ever, she could have said, OK, now I might be helping somebody, I might be doing something extra, so she would have maybe more,
something to aim for.
Exactly, aim for instead, yes.
So even if the kid, so you could have 3 objectives, and you want at least half the class to get to that middle one, and you'd be quite happy. But then those ones,
the extra, they can go a bit further, I agree with that.
Take it to the next level.
Next level, true, yes.